The sun was bleeding out its last light over the Sahel, draping the cracked earth in hues of fire and shadow. The dry wind whispered secrets through brittle grasses, secrets as old as the soil itself. Somewhere beneath that ancient dust, the earth held a treasure, gold, glittering veins woven deep like the lifeblood of a continent that had been robbed time and again. For centuries, the riches beneath Africa's feet had slipped away through foreign hands, carried off under veils of power and promises never meant to be kept. But here, in the heart of Burkina Faso, a man stood poised to change everything. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's figure was a silhouette against the burning sky, the weight of a nation resting heavy on his shoulders. His uniform was worn and faded, threadbare from battles fought under the harsh sun and in the shadows of deceit. His eyes, sharp and steady, held a fire no drought could quench, the fire of a man determined to reclaim what was stolen, not just gold, but dignity, pride, and the future of his people. The air around him was thick with dust and expectation, the scent of dry earth mixing with the faint metallic trace that hung around the nearby gold mines. To an outsider, it might have seemed like just another day in the Sahel, but for those who understood, this was the moment before a storm. The village behind him buzzed with the low hum of everyday life, children's laughter, vendors shouting prices, the clatter of wooden carts on worn dirt roads. Yet beneath this fragile pulse of normalcy was a tension so palpable it could be sliced with a knife. Traoré thought of the stories his grandmother told him as a boy. Stories of great African kingdoms where gold was a river and prosperity flowed freely, stories shattered by the iron grip of foreign invaders who came disguised as saviors, but left only ruin. Those tales were his compass, and in his heart burned a vow. The gold must never again flow out without blessing his people. But the challenge was vast. The government was fractured, riddled with corruption, and chained by debts imposed by powerful nations and multinational corporations. The West's reach was like a creeping shadow, relentless and suffocating. It drained the land of its wealth while the people grew poorer, their voices silenced beneath the clang of foreign interests. Inside the military barracks, where decisions were made and alliances formed, Traoré faced the hardened eyes of men who had long since lost hope. General Kouassi sat back, smoke curling from his cigarette as he regarded Traoré with a mixture of amusement and disdain. "You want to take on the world, Traoré? You think you can fight the powers that have ruled this land for decades?" His voice was low, but it carried the weight of cynicism. Survival isn't about ideals. It's about knowing when to bow your head and keep the peace. But Traoré's response was unwavering, his voice steady like the pulse of a drum in a desert night. "Peace built on chains is not peace, General. If we do nothing, we are complicit in our own erasure. This is not just about gold. It is about reclaiming our future, our identity." The room grew quiet. Some officers exchanged wary glances. Others looked away. The idea was dangerous, bordering on madness, but in that moment a seed was planted. A seed of rebellion rooted in hope and courage. As night fell, Traoré walked alone beneath a sky thick with stars, the air cool against his skin, carrying the distant sounds of the village settling in for rest. His boot nudged a stone, small but stubborn against the worn path. To him, it was more than a pebble. It was a symbol. A stone could build walls or crumble them. It was a choice. Days turned into weeks. Word of Traoré's vision spread, quietly but fiercely among the villages and soldiers alike. He was no longer just a captain, but a beacon. A plan began to take shape. Not a reckless rebellion fueled by rage, but a strategic alliance of those who toiled in the mines, those who had their lives stolen, and the soldiers who still remembered their duty to their people. Then came the message that would change everything. A weathered letter from Amadou, a former miner turned humble farmer. His family had paid dearly under the yoke of foreign companies. The letter told of betrayal, stolen wages, and a secret long hidden, an ancient map revealing the true extent of the gold buried deep beneath Burkina Faso, enough to rewrite the future of the nation. But Amadou's warning was clear. The enemy was everywhere, their spies like shadows in the night. Trust was scarce. Traoré felt the weight of the moment settle deeper into his bones. This was not just a battle of arms, it was a fight for the soul of his country. The night they moved was swallowed by a thunderstorm that cracked the sky and washed the earth with rain, as if the heavens themselves wept for Africa's past. The operation was perilous. Mercenaries hired by foreign interests met them with deadly force. But Traoré and his men fought with something more potent than weapons: their hearts. Their determination to reclaim what had been stolen gave them strength, beyond measure. In the chaos, Traoré came face to face with the man he once called mentor, General Kouassi. The betrayal in Kouassi's eyes was bitter. "Some things," Kouassi spat, "are bigger than loyalty. Survival requires sacrifice." Traoré's reply was quiet but resolute. "You survive by forgetting who you are. I fight to remember." Clutching the stone from his childhood, the symbol of resilience and hope, Traoré led the final push. As dawn broke, the sky flooded with golden light, the same gold that ran through the earth beneath their feet, promising a new dawn for Burkina Faso. Weeks later, a new council governed the mines, a coalition of miners, elders, and soldiers dedicated to protecting their heritage. The gold would no longer be a tool of exploitation but a foundation for prosperity. Traoré stood watching the sunrise, the air cool and filled with the laughter of children playing nearby. A young girl approached him, holding a small golden stone. "This is for you," she said softly, eyes bright with innocence and hope, "to remind you that gold isn't just in the earth, but in the courage of those who fight for it." He smiled, feeling the weight of years lift like the morning mist. The land was healing. The spirit of Africa was rising, no longer a shadow of its past, but the dawn of its own destiny. If this story touched your heart, consider subscribing for more inspiring tales of hope, healing, and unexpected kindness. Hit the like button and share this with someone who needs it today.